Life's like a TTM. You never know what you're gonna get.
Excellent. Okay. He has over 1,000 subscribers, 426 videos, over 70,000 views. He finished 11th in the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame voting with 32 votes. On his channel, he shows cards, shares TTMs through the mail autographs, and he does VRs and giveaways. He hosts and participates in lives, and he does participate in chats, which we are fortunate because we have Adam from Adam's Card Closet. Adam, welcome to the Collector's Chat. Hey,
Hello,
Adam.
hello everyone.
Hello, Adam. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Robert. Likewise, my friend.
Appreciate you coming on.
My
So,
pleasure.
my pleasure as well. Before we continue, we're going to introduce our game. You bet your life. And what you will do is during our conversation, if you say the secret word, which is a word that anyone uses in everyday conversation, so there's no real trick. It's just a everyday word. And if you say the secret word, this duck will come down. And then there goes my mic. Okay.
Okay.
So you say the secret word, knocks over the mic. And if you say the secret word, Adam, you can win this Grease unopened wax pack from the late 70s. Moonraker, that's Roger Moore, also from the late 70s. Still sealed, gum in pack. Not sure if it's intact, but there is gum in there. Elvis. This is also from the late 70s. Sorry about the glare, folks. There you go.
My dad was a huge Elvis fan.
Oh, a lot of people were.
Yeah.
A lot of people were. And last but not least, here's Bo. And it's not the easiest word, I will say. So, Adam, if you say the secret word, I'm going to give you all 4 packs. And John from Autograph Fisherman, he won all the packs last week. So it is possible. It can be done. And if
Yeah.
for some reason you don't get it, you still get the commenting collector sticker. That's the door prize, or that's the consolation prize, I guess. So yeah, say the secret word and those prizes are yours.
The secret
Okay,
word
so we're
is
official
desert.
now. The clock starts. If you say it, you're good to go. So I do have the first question is, and this is my typical question for my guests. Your channel name, how did you come up with it?
All right. So my channel name came up from, and I just like acronyms, if that makes sense, and so on and so forth. If you notice, I kind of got my blue with the A and the C and the C letters blue, and then the rest, in red, to kind of differentiate, ACC, so somebody can kind of call me by a nickname per se. And then Adam's Car Closet. I tried to think of different names or whatnot, and I asked my fiance and my 2 girls, names, and we kind of agreed that Adam's Car Closet sounded I guess, the coolest or the nicest, and so on and so forth, and allowed me to use an acronym as well. So
That's amazing, and I'm glad I asked because I thought it was maybe a simple, maybe just not a very, great question, but I had no idea there was acronyms involved. I just thought maybe you had a closet with your cards in it or something. So there you go. It's
I might.
a bit of trivia for all the viewers. Now they know how the Adams Card Closet name derives. So great, very good. Um, so on your channel, Adam, you're you do a lot of things. I mentioned it in your intro. So first though, how did you even get in even before prior to YouTube, Adam? How did you get into the hobby?
Okay. So I was growing up. I think I was somewhere between 10 and 12 years of age, is what, as I recollect about this story multiple times when I've been sharing it on my channel. And a friend of mine that I lived next to gave me some 83 Donruss. So he gave me like a big old stack of 83 Donruss. And I've sat there and heard stories about, baseball cards supposedly worth money, this or that. So I figured I'd put them away in my closet or whatnot, my closet, and put them away in there just nice and neat. And I kept them kind of untouched, and potentially undamaged or whatnot, and so on and so forth. So about 3 or 4 years later, I had a friend to come to stay the night with me that was into collecting baseball cards and so on and so forth. And he kind of showed me, a couple of these little 50 cent type reprint cards of like Pete Rose, Babe Ruth, like legendary names that I sit there and seen on commercials and so on and so forth. I knew those names. And then he said to say, "Hey man, you want to trade?" He showed me a Tony Gwynn and a Wade Boggs from '83. Yeah, I never heard of those guys because I didn't. All I had was the three basic channels back then, and so on and so forth. So he traded me out of my Tony Gwynn and Wade Boggs rookie card, and so on and so forth. Uh, Unbeknownst to me at that time, for $1 worth of cards. But it did light a fire. All that being said, so I went to the card shop. I asked him, "Hey, where do you get these at?" And so on and so forth. He said, "You can buy them at the stores and so on and so forth. Or you can go to a card shop." So I had my dad take me to a card shop, and I bought this Beckett magazine and so on and so forth, and started flipping through the pages and realized what had happened there. But I didn't really fault him for that or whatnot. But that's how I kind of got into collecting cards and so on and so forth. Just I did grow up watching a bunch of basketball, which was my favorite sport growing up or whatnot because I got to play it. Baseball was a little bit harder to find 18 guys to go play in the field or whatnot and so on and so forth. But I did play a lot of basketball, so I love it. Other sports as well too. But that's how I started collecting baseball cards, though.
Oh, that's awesome, Adam. That's some pretty typical, I guess. You started as a kid, and you love sports, so it was kind of a natural connection, progression. Did you? You said you're a basketball fan. What was your team of choice back then as a kid?
So ironically, I sit there and was a fan of the Celtics and Larry Bird, and I
Hmm.
did like Magic Johnson too, and so on and so forth. And I was going to kind of show an iconic card right quick for that, the
Wow.
Bird Magic rookie card there. So I just loved the competitiveness, nature, how those two guys just went at it, and
Sure.
they had respect for each other, and they still show that respect even to this day. But when it's on the court, they was there to kick each other's tail. Pardon the
Yeah, they sure
uh,
did.
you know, trying to keep it PG or whatnot. But they wanted to win.
Yeah, for sure. So either Celtics, Sixers. How about for baseball? Were back then as a kid?
So baseball. So ironically, I did pick a team. On this set. These the cards I had. I didn't have a chance to quote watch any baseball, so I sit there and said, "Well, I do need to pick a team. If I'm going to do this, I need to pick a team." So I went through these cards and found colors and players that looked interesting to me, and of course the name Braves. Kind of being a boy, I always wanted to have courage and be brave. My
Sure.
my, my dad and my grandfather and everybody served in the military, so I wanted to have, that, you know, logic of being Braves. My favorite color back then was blue, et cetera, et cetera. So all those things pieced together, and of course, do have a little bit of Native American heritage in my family as well. So,
You're good.
bam, that's how I became a Braves fan.
Yeah, and how nice was it too? Because if you're gonna have a team to pick, and you're maybe not necessarily in a major league state or city, you know, either the Cubs or the Braves, because they had the super stations that you could actually watch the games. Because obviously, this was well before streaming on internet or anything like that. So that worked out well.
Yeah. Yep. Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, so that was your hobby days, and then did you continue through your your youth as like high school and college and adulthood, or did you take a break, or how did that transpire?
I think I'm not unlike everyone else. I did take my break. My
Okay.
break probably came in about 91 ish, 92 possibly. And then I got back into it maybe like 16 years ago. So like 2007, 2008 time frame, I think.
Okay. Okay. So you've been collecting though pretty steady now for what is that? 16 years, did you just say?
Yes,
So
sir.
that's pretty good. I mean, a lot of people, they don't, if they even come back to the hobby, it's maybe 2020 during the pandemic or whatnot. So, and that's actually, I kind of, after high school, just like you were saying, a lot of people, I got away from it too, but fortunately kept all my cards. And during the pandemic, 2020 is when I discovered YouTube, and then I dug my cards back out, and here I am. How about yourself? When did your YouTube journey begin, Adam? As far as finding this community and whatnot.
Yes, sir. I sit there and don't think I've started actually making content for about like a year and a half. So whenever that thing sits there and says it started or whatnot, I was just
Right.
basically a commenter like you, good sir, for a
Yes, that's
while
right.
and so on and so forth. Then a couple of people encouraged me to go ahead and start making videos because I kept tempting them or teasing them in the comments, hey, I might sit there and start making videos myself. And I kept saying, well, you should and you should and so on and so forth. Kind of just the same thing with TTMs. I kept telling all my good TTM friends I was watching their stuff and I'm going to start. And 6 months later is when I finally probably started. And by that time, TTM game is very valuable in time, precious because people start TTMing, stop TTMing. Unfortunately, some even go and pass on and so on and so forth. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I just took about a year and a half to get enough courage, I guess, to start making videos. And then I've been doing it probably for about, I think, 4.5 years or something like that now.
Yeah, actually, just looking at your channel, doing some preparation, Adam. Looks like February 28th is when you started. So you're coming up upon your 5-year anniversary. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And so maybe, let's see, 2018, 2019 is when you actually started. You found the community and you were watching and watching videos. Do you remember how you found the community? I mean, were you just an avid YouTube watcher in other subjects or videos, and or how did that whole deal come where you found the community?
So basically, I think it's just the algorithms or whatnot. I sit there and went on to YouTube and sit there and figured I'd try to check out sports, sports cards or whatnot. And then, the usual suspects, the Jabs family, et cetera, the
Right.
bigger ones at that time frame popped up. And,
Yep.
it looked pretty cool. Two brothers going to these flea markets trying to find
Hmm.
finds and stuff and so forth. And then before I know it, I started getting more and more content. I would just pop in and check them out and kind of subscribe to the ones I liked and kind of move on past the ones I didn't, and it kind of, as well, the ones that were about the community and kind of interacted, back and so on and so forth. Some channels just, you know, only focused on their channel and not anybody else. So I do like the community channels as well,
Hmm.
whether they make videos or watch videos and
Sure.
live streams and stuff, kind of like what you talked about during my opening or what, yeah. So
Oh, that's awesome. So before you even got onto YouTube, as far as even watching, let alone making videos, Adam, I mean, you said you were still actively collecting cards. So how did that manifest itself? I mean, you said as a youngster, you went to some shows. Were you still going to shows? Were you building, or were you buying new product at, Target, Walmart, whatnot, building sets? Or what did that look like, your collecting days, before, or kind of during the infancy of your YouTube channel?
So basically, when I first started YouTube, I was more of a less a what I call a ripper. I love
Okay,
getting boxes of cards
sure.
and ripping into them and so on and so forth. And then maybe going to the card shows and picking up, singles and so on and so forth of, some of my PCs.
Okay, now here's the big question I have then, and maybe you've alluded to it and I just didn't pay attention. So when did your because you would probably, if someone said, Adam, what is your forte, or what is your focus in your collecting habits? It'd probably be, would you say TTMs? Because that's kind of how I feel you're kind of known for. Is that correct? TTM, through the mail autographs?
So I sit there and collect TTMs. I do, and but I sit there and also known to be like the number one chipper collector in YouTube as well.
Okay.
So I think those are the two things I guess most people know me for is TTMs and Chipper Jones, since I got like over 500 unique Chipper Jones autographs in my collection, plus numerous other chipper cards and stuff. So yeah, I like TTMs too, getting different autographs back.
Mm-hmm. So that was okay. Then that's perfect. So then that's my question. I guess now it's twofold. A, when did you get your first or let's do it this way. As a kid, did you ever go to professional sporting events that you would ever have the opportunity to get autographs in person from?
So no, no, sir. My dad was single and he worked all the time and so on and so forth to support us, and I didn't really get much, father and son time to do those type of,
Mhm.
uh, uh, things and stuff. Going to playing catch or going to a game, this or that, and so on and so forth. It was about work and then trying to spend time to watching, our little favorite shows and stuff like that. As a family and whatnot is kind of well nice and simple, I guess. Yeah.
Well, until I discovered the YouTube card community, someone would have said TTM. I have no idea what a TTM is,
Me
which,
neither.
being a sports person and all that, collector, just never came across it. So for yourself, Adam, when did you first learn about TTMs or hear about that as even an option? Because I always thought, well, if I didn't go to the game and have the athletes sign my program, or I guess go to a card show where it's already been pre-signed, I didn't know anything about this mail. So how did that ever fly onto your radar about this whole TTM stuff that's going on?
Yes, sir. So I grew up, I guess, knowing that people got cards because I saw this book or whatnot, at the card shop or someplace, or maybe at the bookstore, where you can get addresses of sports,
Mm,
legends or whatnot, and then send in the card and they would ship it back or whatnot, and so on and so forth. So I heard about that as a kid, and of course it never got onto my collecting, my hobby, until I got into YouTube and I sit there and started watching a few TTMers sit there and get like Wade Boggs, Ryan Sandberg, Brooks Robinson, all these Hall of Fame people. And I sit there and see some of them are like free, like Goose Gossage will sign a card for free,
mhm.
and said, man, all I gotta do is send a 10-cent card out and get a Hall of Fame autograph on it. So to me, that's how I got on my radar is just by watching YouTube's to kind of get the thought process together, the encouragement to get it together and start sending them out. Because that's all it takes is you got to put it in the mail. You don't ever sit there and put it in the mail. It's never going to come back.
That's right. So to that point, and I talked to John Burgess, the autograph fisherman. He says maybe half of the stuff he sends out ever comes back, and for that reason, he doesn't typically want to send any really nice cards. Do you feel is that kind of your experience, Adam, or do you have a different experience with that?
I feel like that's a lot of people's, and that would be my thought process when I'm coaching new people to get into TTM. Only do that. For me as well, I sit there and seen some of my other friends that are kind of more of a gamblers, kind of like myself.
Sure.
I've sent some pretty big cards out that I sit there and was very nervous whether they're going to be able to come back to my, my house or not,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. But you go big or go home. Now I
That's
got
right.
like Steve
That's right.
Carlton rookie card, autograph, or Orlando Cepeda rookie card, and et cetera, et cetera. Some pretty legendary rookies signed and whatnot now because of that.
For sure. Do you remember, Adam, what was the first return that that you ever received from a TTM?
The first couple I sent out was like Wade Boggs, Andre Dawson, and Ryan Sandberg. Those are my first three, and they all came back roughly. I want to sit there say within a week or two of each other. So I'd have to go back to my
Sure.
records and so on and so forth to see exactly which one. And when I first started, I was just sending out Braves and Hall of Famers. So it might have been like a Ron Gann as well,
Mhm.
Glenn Hubbard or somebody to that nature that came back like second or third as well, pretty close to first.
That's awesome because when I first learned about TTMs, that's one thing that struck me is I wasn't just seeing, the superstars, the Hall of Famers come back, which I would have thought would be the only ones that people would even send out. I saw the everyday Joes, the common players, and I thought, how neat is that for these players to still be receiving all this fan mail years after they retired? Albeit, a major leaguer is a major leaguer. Even the worst major leaguer is still better than probably 99% of the people. But what do you got there? Oh, Teddy Higuera, Brewers.
Just yeah, you get different ones back, and so on and so forth. Yeah,
Doc Reddick.
I
Yeah,
always think of it, I'll tell people, don't start as well if you're not something that you think you're going to enjoy. Because once you start, I find it kind of like tattoos, any kind of ink
yeah,
is addictive. So,
sure.
you'll sit there and want to keep collecting and keep sending out more and more once you do start. So,
Well, here's an inside question then. Do you have any tattoos?
no, sir. No, sir.
But you think they would be addicting if you got, so you don't even want to start, or else next time we'll see you'll have like the face tattoo and all that stuff.
I've just been told people that get tattoos find
Right.
it addictive and they keep getting more, and it's about getting the next one and so on and so forth. Even if they don't go and get a next one, they've always thought about ones that they would like to have or whatnot and so on and so forth. From what I've been told, so.
No, I'm with you. I think we're kind of in the minority these days, so we're kind of on the cutting edge of people that actually don't have tattoos. So that's kind of the special club that we're in. So no, that's awesome. So do you remember, um, Adam, what TTM you looked forward the most to? And it may have been those first three, I guess, sending out and receiving, or maybe you haven't done it yet. It's like the elusive white elephant TTM that you're still pursuing.
So I guess any Hall of Fame rookie card I sent out, those are the ones I'm most excited about. Because to me, to be honest, if I could only collect one thing now, going forward in my collection, I even mentioned this to Mike, the baseball collector or whatnot, that, Hall of Fame rookie cards to me is my favorite because you get the Hall of Fame rookie cards and you get autographs on them. So you're collecting both on the exact same card or whatnot. So you really kind of getting two for the price of one while you're collecting and so on and so forth. So to me, getting a Hall of Fame rookie card autograph back is my favorite. That Steve Carlton rookie, of course, being the most expensive one I sent in the mail, was the one I'm liked getting back the most, and thankful that it came back that I didn't lose all that money. But the white elephant, I like that question too. So I'm gonna answer that. So it's a Nolan Ryan rookie card is the one I ain't been able to find I guess a copy of that card that I would like to sit there and get sent out and get it autographed or whatnot, because it's a fairly pricey card, and I'm cracking open the one I got in a slab to do it either. So I'd like to find a raw copy and then send it. I was just saying, had the opportunity to come across the right one just yet.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Like Mike baseball collector, that's really was one of the reasons I'm here today. I was, I'm in sales for my job and I travel around and I love music, but do listen to a lot of podcasts. And I think in the iTunes or the podcast for the iPhone. Yeah, I just search or I put in the search engine baseball cards and the golden age of cardboard. Mike's podcast popped up, so I watched it, listened to it. Then he mentioned he also simulcasts or there's a YouTube version of it. So of course I had to go on YouTube and search it. Then I came across his show on YouTube, and then of course it just blossomed from there. So yeah, well, Mike, shout out to Mike, baseball collector. So, how many TTMs, Adam? And I asked the same question to John, autograph collector. How many do you send out a week? If that's what you do, you send them out. If you send them out weekly, or how many do you send out? And how many TTMs have you? How many returns? Well, you could maybe ask both ways. How many have you sent out? How many returns have TTMs have you received in the last 4 years, 4.5 years of doing this?
So I didn't start TTMing when I first started my channel
Okay.
though. So, but I do typically send out somewhere between 10 to 25 per week, just depending on the time of the year and so on and so forth. And as well, if there's any contests going on for us TTMers, so I'll try to get a few extras out there in that time to try to help the team, that I might be on to sit there and so on and so forth. So about 10 to 25 per week. And I was just gonna say I've gotten over 10,000 returns so far now.
Wow. So the mail, the post office, they know you well. They're your friend. They
Yeah.
yeah, now you mentioned the team aspect of it. That was another phenomenon that I discovered because I was watching, years ago, or not years, but maybe 2 years ago, Mike, the Hot Corner, and yeah, he would mention, and others would mention when they got cards that they would get points, and they were you guys. Maybe you could explain. Is that still going on? Maybe you could explain that. Kind of was that a competition between the TTMers in the community?
So yes, so there'll be like what we call teams, where maybe there's like two teams, three teams, or four teams, just depending on the event and so on and so forth, and how many people jump in. So I think there's like one that's going on right now. I didn't get in on that one, but like right now they're picking teams. So every guy got randomly selected a one of the 30 baseball teams. So he has to send out as many cards as he can to try to get returns from, say, the Braves, the White Sox, or whatever team it might be, the Twins, and so on and so forth. And as many of those teams they get back within that window period of time, that's a point, and so on and so forth. And like I've done the ones with the battle of the decades, though, where it's like 80s versus 90s, or et cetera, year versus that year, and so on and so forth. So, yep.
Is there TTMs in the community? Are there? Do you think? I should say the signers, the athletes, or maybe even non-athletes, celebrities, or whatnot. Do you? Or well, first of all, I'll just ask you that, Adam. Do you just exclusively send out to the athletes, or do you do non-sports people, celebrities, etc.?
I do non-sports as well, and so on and so forth. And I do all the different sports too. You got like Olympians, and so on and
Mm-hmm.
so forth. And you got I just got my first what is that, pickleball?
Yeah.
I
Right.
got a guy that does that, and so on and so
Awesome.
forth. I've gotten golf, tennis, bowling, uh celebrities, and so on and so forth. I've gotten like what was the guy's name that host Jeopardy now?
Oh, yeah. I can't. Yeah. I'm.
Ken Jennings.
Who is Ken Jennings? They're here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I sit there and gotten him, and so on and so forth. It's just, fun to get different people's
Sure.
autographs. I see some TTMers get them, and it just sparks the interest of sending that person out for myself. So,
If I were to get into TTMs, just get into it, not even necessarily heavily, being a pop culture guy myself, I think that would be great to get a lot of those television, movie celebrities, actors, or whatnot, just especially from my childhood, from like the 70s and 80s. I think that would be fun. Do you have any like special non-sport or non-athlete uh, TTM return that's kind of sticks in your mind as being one of your favorites that you've received?
so John Travolta, you
Okay.
showed those grease cards earlier or whatnot,
Yeah,
and so on and
that's
so
right.
forth.
That's right.
So I gotten him. I got Henry Winkler, the Fonz,
Nice.
so on and so forth. Let's see, I got Sophia Loren. She
Hmm.
lives overseas, so that was pretty cool
Hubba
to get
hubba.
her back on some really rare foreign issue cards and so on and so forth. I guess I just got Tim Allen, Buzz Lightyear, back. Those are
Nice.
probably some of my favorite ones I can think of right off the top of my head.
Now those atoms that you just mentioned, are they typically, do they charge? Is that kind of the rule, or is the exception of the rule to the rule that the signers charge?
So the celebrities ones, I've not had one of those that have a quote what they call a charge or a
Mm-hmm.
fee, a signing
Mm-hmm.
fee. Now some of the baseball ones will, and so on and so forth.
Sure.
And some of those are even like for charities too. So like the Nolan Ryan, he does a $75 fee, but it goes to his foundation charity and whatnot. Carlton Fisk, I've sent to him, it's $50, and you don't sign his name at all on it. You sign it to the Cancer Research Fund and so on and so forth. So to me, some people, I guess, fuss about the fees or whatnot. To me, if it's especially if it's for the charity or whatnot,
Sure.
you're sending it to charity or whatnot, so.
So if it's like I don't know, $5, do you just put a $5 bill in the envelope, or
Now, some of those websites that you
yeah,
utilize, Sports Cards Forum is a popular one because it's free. But I use Star Tiger, which is one that charges $30 for unlimited use for a year. And so I use it, and it'll sit there and kind of let you know whether the guys want a check and or cash, and so on and so
okay.
forth. So you can sit there and find all that information out, address included, and all that stuff on there.
Oh, so you could actually send a personal check to some of these?
Yep.
Okay, that's kind of interesting because they'll actually get your autograph as well.
Yeah. But all of them is cashed the darn check though. None of them kept it for an autograph.
Oh, they didn't go Ricky Henderson and frame the check and put it on their wall. Okay.
Yeah, eventually he had to take that down though.
Yeah,
Everybody forgets about that. He had to take it down
yeah.
eventually and go ahead and cash it.
Yeah, the accounting department of the A's didn't appreciate that, I guess. So, do you feel that there's any chance? I mean, I guess it's twofold. One, I mean, do you feel that the TTM community is growing or staying, kind of stagnant, or because what I'm getting at is if it's growing, which I feel like it may be, like more people are discovering it, like, from a guy, from both of us that never even heard of it, 6 years ago, 5 years ago. Is it growing to the point where you fear that it could be oversaturated? Like these athletes and they're just going to get overwhelmed and they're just going to say, nah, we're done. Or what do you feel about that?
Okay. So the first portion of the question was, do I feel like this community of TTMing is growing? I would sit there and say yes, so on
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. Just like YouTube channels or there's the amount of the amount of YouTube channels first and foremost is growing, but even that population of that portion of the community called the TTM community is as well growing. So I see more guys that are been on the YouTube for less than a year that are now or even started their channel doing TTMs and so on and so forth. So, and as the answer to the question, I do sit there and see some guys stop signing because they're getting overwhelmed, or as well, I start getting little notes back sitting there saying, now since I've been inundated with so many
Right.
requests, and we got to start charging now.
Yeah.
You know, they go from zero sometimes to $5, but
Yep.
some of them just go from zero to like some ridiculous number because once again, they just basically don't want you sitting there sending out requests to them because they want to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of takes kind of takes the, oh, how would you say it? The grassroots, the just the personal interaction away. I think if too many, I mean, you don't, I guess on one hand, you're glad that it's growing, that people are appreciating it and reaping the benefits that you've really enjoyed. But on the other hand, I could see if it got too big, maybe even some of these athletes or celebrities, if they're getting inundated, like you said, it'll either charge more or just maybe stop cold turkey, or maybe even might be worse than anything, just have like their assistant, their personal assistant, just start signing and then sending them back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What a lot of us TTMers do though, we get authenticated autographs as well. So we will sit there and send these autographs out to get them slabbed up, you know, and authenticated and so on and so
Oh,
forth.
sure.
So that lets us as well. I don't do a lot of mine that way, just my Hall of Fame rookie cards. But if I
Hmm.
see a guy do theirs, and get them authenticated, that lets me know that these guys are good TTMers, and most of the people will sit there and as well note possibly fake or possible ghost signer or secretary signer and so on and so forth as well. You know, like Barry Sanders, he does an auto pen or whatnot. You know, you're not getting his autograph and it be
Oh,
all
interesting.
streaky and so on and so forth. Mike Smith, you know, sit there and is a secretary signature. Don't even look like his
Oh,
signature. You know what I'm saying? But you know,
unless you're YouTuber Mike Schmidt, then you probably get the real deal because he's probably got special privileges with
yeah.
having the same namesake. But no, that's very interesting. Okay, well, no, I could go on and on with I like I said, I'm fascinated. Do you have anything? Yeah.
I want to cut you off. Ironically, somebody sent to the Hot Corner Mike Smith for a TCM request. I was thinking he might have been the real Mike Smith the other
Well, I
day or
mean,
whatnot. That's so cool.
and if they sent it into PSA or whatever to get authenticated, it'd have to be because it is Mike Schmidt, right?
I don't think they got his autograph on file.
Okay, no, like I said, I love that. I could go on with that. So let's do your other love, Chipper Jones. When did well in '83 when he got all those beautiful Donrusses, is that when you got a Chipper Jones and you're like, okay, this is it? Or no, actually that would have been before, right? Chipper was he came around in '90 or something was his rookie. So
That's
t-
correct.
yeah, tell us about your Chipper journey, Adam,
All
and
right.
show some stuff too, please.
I got a card here that I'm searching for. I guess I didn't bring it like I thought I did. But anyways, I'm all the time asked to have the Topps Desert Shield card, which is 91. And
Okay.
so, that's his very first card. It was the 91, at least the first
Mm,
produced card, by the card manufacturers, the
really?
known ones, and so on and so forth, the 91 Topps. But I do have his Desert Shield card. So I
Mm,
grew up, and when I got back into the hobby 15, 16, 17 years ago, I sat there and said, well, I got to focus my collection. I knew that I could not afford King Griffey Jr., which was my actual PC growing up when I was a
sure.
kid. But I just knew his stuff was just too expensive. So I sat there and said, I'm going to go to the card shop. I'm going to go in there and find me a cool Braves card and start a PC. And then that whichever one I find and like, that's the guy I'm going to sit there and start super collecting. Ironic, I found a really cool quad relic card, numbered to like think 10 or something like that. I've showed it on my channel a few times with Chipper Jones. And so I sat there and immediately went home and searched eBay and started buying Chipper Jones off of there and so on and so forth. So I grew into another addictive personality collecting that and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So how many Chipper Jones, if would you characterize yourself then, Adam, as a Chipper Jones super collector?
I sit there and think they sit there and say if you got 250 unique cards of one
Okay.
player, that makes you a super collector. And since I got like 500 just
Hmm.
unique Chipper Jones autographs, I'm gonna sit there and say I definitely should be classified as a
Yeah.
super collector.
Do you have every one of the Chipper Jones cards that were unique cards that were produced?
No, I do not. I think trading card database sit there and a couple of years back I looked at it. It was like close to 18,000 unique chipper cards back then. So there's a
What?
lot. Yeah, with all this modern product, all
Huh.
the different color parallels that they put out and so on and so forth. They definitely flooded the market or whatnot with his cards and so on and so forth. So unfortunately, I won't ever have all of them.
But does that keep you going though? Like you just keep going and getting as many as you can and just keep going, or are you ever going to just say I've got enough and then
Well, it is very hard to collect everything that I would like to collect on the budget, and so on and so forth.
sure,
I don't have, like a endless amounts of money or whatnot. I work
right?
in a fast food industry or whatnot as a manager. So I
Okay,
sit there and make, a living, but I don't make enough just to go out and buy every card I want and so on and so forth. So but I chase after the cool colored parallels and stuff that I
right.
like. And every now and then I try to splurge and maybe buy myself a 101 or this or that and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I guess I just always have just my default is, and it's probably it's a handicap of mine my default is vintage almost, not necessarily like 50s, 60s, but just even 80s, I guess, where you had the year, you had your tops and you had your Fleer, then you had your Donruss, and that was it. You didn't have all the companies that come out with the parallels, the numbered cards, refractors. So when you're talking about all these different variations, it's a lot of these one of ones, these refractors, these rare cards. It probably is for a super collector almost impossible unless, like you have, like you said, you have like a endless supply of cash, to keep up on that.
And then you still got to be able to
Yeah.
find the copy of the card
Right.
too.
They might not want to part with that if it's a one-on-one or a refractor. True, true, true. So you grew up, and you randomly chose the Braves, or maybe not quite randomly, but you had the Donruss cards and you checked it. Are you willing to disclose, Adam? Like, you obviously you didn't grow up in Atlanta. Where did you grow up, or what what city, state, or not even city? You don't have to go, but state.
I live in the metro area of Arkansas.
Okay.
Uh, Razorback, Woo Peak, Suey.
Okay, so no, okay. That's where you live now. Did you grow up in the same? Okay,
Entire life, born
born
and
and
raised
raised.
here, sitting there
Okay.
living high on my hogs.
High in your hog. So, yeah. So college. So are you a big college sports fan then?
I
Razorbacks.
love sports.
Okay.
I love sports. I watch any sports that I can find on TV.
Okay. And what other things besides sports, as far as, do you have any other, other type of hobbies or interests that you might want to just kind of need some time to escape the whole sports scene for a while, or are you just strictly 24/7 sports? Well, okay, he's pointing at something.
I got Hot Wheels up there on the
Oh,
wall or whatnot.
okay.
I sit there and have a ton of those. I
Yeah.
sit there and collect only Corvettes though. I
Oh,
got
wow.
some. I got some other little larger scale versions of the Hot Wheel Corvettes as well, and so on and so forth. Then I got a few bobbleheads that you'll typically not bobbleheads, but Funko Pops that you'll see in the background
Sure.
of some of my
Yeah.
videos. Collect, different statues and so on and so
Yeah.
forth, and starting lineups and bobbleheads of some of my favorite players and so on and so forth.
Awesome. So yeah, you're not just you're not just a one trick pony. You got, like in stock market, you're diversified. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Well, hey, those Hot Wheels. I know as a kid, I played with them. Did you play with those also as a kid? Matchbox
Yes,
Hot Wheels.
yes, I sit there and had some pretty cool ones or whatnot, and so on and so forth. And one of those things, you look back and see what some of them things go for, and you say, dang it, why did I keep those? Kind of
Oh,
deal
I
too.
know.
So
Yeah, the orange track and everything. You'd set them up on your couch and try to do the loop or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I like too the different things, especially in the community, the YouTube community. It's not just YouTube sports card community because there's the diecast collectors. Shout out Cali Collector. He's always on the hunt for the Hot Wheels and whatnot. Yeah, as I'm I'm kind of a hoarder, and luckily that's kind of means that I do have a lot of stuff from my childhood, but the Hot Wheels Matchbox, I don't have. Well, for one thing, even if I did, they would be in terrible condition because we used to have this Oriental rug, and my stepbrother and we'd each take our Hot Wheels and we do smash up derbies. And then whoever's the last one on the Oriental rug won. So it was fun, but needless to say, our cars ended up in pretty rough shape.
My cars was probably in really good condition. I had one of those fancy cases that you keep each one
Oh
separated and so on
yeah,
and
I
so
did
forth.
too.
Then if anybody that played with me, I said to say, you're not ramming them cards into stuff. So on and so
Yeah,
forth. I was very
yeah.
picky about my stuff because I don't know, I just wanted them to look nice, you know. So
Yeah, and it's funny because are you familiar with Cali Collector Isaac?
yeah, Isaac, you know,
Yeah.
he's stopped his channel, started it back up a couple of different times and
Okay.
so on and so forth. So yeah, I know Isaac there in California.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a good guy. I've kind of joked with him. I said, "Man, you get them, you keep them in the package. Don't you ever just get tempted to rip them out and play with them?" He goes, "Nah, I don't play with them. I'm a collector." So, but yeah, that's a whole different ball game, and I wouldn't go back and have it any other way. I mean, I hope that kids. I could see adults, you keep them in the package, but I'm hoping I'm hoping not all the kids just keep them in the package because what's the point? But I'm sure some of them do because I know you search and they got the special ones and they got the special codes and all that stuff. So no, that's awesome. So yeah, did you have anything else for show and tell showcase before you?
I don't know. A lot of people ask why collect cards and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I will show a few cards right quick. I just love history as well. I
Oh,
think
sure.
that's a portion of why I love and fell in love with the game of baseball more so than even
Hmm.
basketball, even though that was the sport
Hmm.
I played. I just
Yep.
think baseball has more history. The
Yeah.
athletes has more history and people like, Jackie, and so on and so forth. You know,
Wow. What
that's
was
a
that? What
that's a
that?
55 tops double header. It's one of
Oh
those cards
wow.
you fold over, and it sit there and it has the legs for both players, but the
Oh
picture,
sure.
yeah.
And that has been unfolded or it's still intact?
Well, you can obviously see that there's a crease where it was folded,
Okay,
so forth through it or whatnot.
cool.
It's the reason why it's only a five.
It's a big slab.
Jesse Owens rookie card or
Oh,
whatnot. I
shoot.
just love the history, so on and
Yeah.
so forth. Got some Negro League players here that I brought out to share.
Oh,
Cool Papa Bell.
and that's his autograph in there?
Yeah, and then
Are
Buck Leonard. You
are
know,
all the ones you're showing well, the Jackie wasn't autographed, right?
Jackie nor the Jesse was autographed. I wish I had their
Would
autograph.
that be one of the white whales to win the
Yeah,
lottery, I suppose, and be able to get one of those, obviously pre-signed, but
yeah. And I did bring out some basketball cards, just to show that I got a variety of cards.
oh,
MJ rookie,
wow.
The Fleer rookie, in case you're one of those star guys that think that's the rookie. And of course, my guy Kobe sat there and got an autograph of his and then his rookie card there.
That's how
I
hey,
was
question for you, Adam. How long have you had that 89 Fleer Jordan? Or I
I
mean
probably
80, not did I say 89? It's 80 what
80,
year is
80, 86, 87.
86, 87. Okay. How long have you had that?
Probably 10 years.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I bought it way before
I was
all
gonna
the
say.
hype and the blow up of
Yeah,
that.
I know Justin Three Good Nerds is saving up to get a 86, 87 Fleer
Yeah.
Jordan. So he kind of chronicles them. Ooh,
So
look at
this is one of my
that.
most epic cards. I used to have it in background of some of my videos back in the day.
The
It's a five.
tomahawk.
It's a five card, one of five set. You had to get all five, and it would form the tomahawk,
Oh
and so on and
boy.
so forth. So I just think this is one of the coolest pieces I've ever seen. Just because you got to think, they sell packs of cards around the world. One of these could have been some foreign country far away, and then
Sure.
this one in another country, et cetera, or different states. But somebody was able to collect all five, and
Man.
bam, and I was able to buy it off. So that's one of my favorite pieces. And then I got three more pieces I'm gonna share. So his last All Star game was 2012, and I got this really sick patch. It has the laundry tag right there, the majestic laundry tag.
Oh,
Then it has the All Star game patch right there
boy.
from his
That is
last
beautiful. That's
All Star
sweet.
game. And then here's the shield that was on the front of the jersey.
Oh my.
Just to kind of boot. And both of those, of course, are one of ones.
Oh,
So those are two of my favorite cards. And
man.
people try shipper collectors have tried to throw insane cards and insane money for those, but those aren't going anywhere. Most people know that Tomahawk is like I've also offered that, but people know that's like one of those holy grail untouchable pieces, so nobody
Right.
offers or even tries to get that one off me. But
Yeah.
here's a ticket stub for his very last baseball game.
Oh,
And
wow.
unfortunately, it was the wild card game against the Cardinals.
Hmm.
And of course, they lost, but he did sign it and inscribe it my last game.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Good keepsake. Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid or even a young adult or even an older adult, I every time I'd go to a sporting event or a concert or anything, any event that involved tickets, I'd keep my ticket stub and I put it in a scrapbook. And unfortunately, these days with electronic tickets, that's really gone the way of the dodo bird. And yeah, just the look of those tickets, it's just everything. That's one of the things where so-called progress and technology is kind of taken that romance and all that stuff away. So it's good to see. And I think well, my friend Scott from Stukes Baseball Cards and Curiosities, he thinks that ticket stubs and or even programs for that matter are one of those value collectibles you can get at a it's a good value at this point that the market really hasn't realized what those really are, the rarity and how much those things are going to be worth in the future, and you can still get pretty good prices on those things. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good to see that you got that ticket stub. That's crazy. And I think you mentioned this on your channel. I've heard it, but just for our audience, because I'm sure most of everyone watching is familiar with your channel, Adam. But you've actually you go to Braves games, right? Do you go like a yearly trip, or how's that gone for over the few years of being just a huge Chipper fan and Chipper Jones fan, Braves fan?
So to me, here personally, I have not had anybody here locally that I found that is a big Braves fan.
Mm-hmm.
And so on and so forth. So it's always been very hard for me to find, making a long road trip like that. You want to go with somebody, for the experience. You don't want to go that many miles away, sit in a big old stadium all by yourself, and so on and
True,
so
true,
forth.
true.
So I never really went until the last handful of years or whatnot. I sit
Yeah.
there and met a woman in my life that
Oh,
sit there and
nice.
actually cares about my hobbies, my interests, my
Yeah,
life, and sit there and took me on a road trip to go see a couple of Braves games, one in St. Louis so far, and then one in Atlanta, there at Truist Park and so on and so forth. So I've been blessed to get to go see the Braves at Truist Park in a big Atlanta, Georgia. So
sure. How far is that from Arkansas?
it's actually not as bad of a drive as you think. Of course, some people don't want to be in the car longer than 2 hours, but about an 8.5 hour drive.
Oh, that's not bad. That's
Uh,
equivalent to here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, from going, well, with traffic, you could probably get to Chicago in about seven and a half with the traffic. So yeah, that's doable. It's not too bad. Um,
Yeah. I'm going
I
to the Nationals this year in
I
Chicago.
was gonna ask you.
That's about a 10.5 hour drive. I've been there a few times. I also
Okay,
used to shoot pool and pool tournaments. So I got to actually sit there and start going and traveling America a little bit shooting pool back in the day because that's uh was the very first time I actually got to sit there and start leaving the state really because of getting a tournament paid entry fee. I guess I got into what they call a qualifier, yeah. And then I won that tournament and that paid my all around expenses to go to say Las Vegas or Atlanta, Georgia or Charleston, South Carolina, Chicago. many places around America or whatnot that I got to go and play in tournaments and sit there and have some fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember you, Adam, mentioning that you're a pool player. Um, do you have okay here from Minneapolis? Oh wow, look at that. That's his trophies. Oh man. Wow. Yeah, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, growing up, we always heard of Minnesota Fats. And I remember ABC Wide World of Sports Saturday afternoons, they'd occasionally have pool tournaments. So I remember was it Willie Moscone? I think is that am I saying it right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's correct.
I always enjoyed playing pool. I played a little pool in college, but nothing, I wasn't good or anything, but yeah, no, I enjoy it. So that's awesome. So is your fiance the one that's the one you're speaking of? She's a Braves fan. I mean, she shares your hobby, your sports love as far as that goes.
She's a fan of Adam.
Yeah, okay. No, good, good, good. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. So that's wonderful because yeah, because as we geek out into this stuff, not that they have to, hold our hand and be with us all the time, but it does help when if anything they accept it. So uh my room or my quote unquote man cave downstairs, I get a room and Mrs. CC, my wife, she allows me to have do with it what I want. So that's what I do. It's plastered with different sports memorabilia, celebrities, pop culture posters and whatnot. So it's good. It's good to have that. So excellent. Hey, before we close it out, Adam, um, you've probably, if you've watched these collectors chats before, you've seen where I have kind of a lightning round at the end. And the lightning round, I really enjoyed watching when I was young. Was I'm not sure if you ever watched Inside the Actors Studio with James Lipton, where they'd have different actors on and they talk. But anyway, James Lipton would always end his show by asking his guests 10 questions that were formulated by a French television host named Bernard Pivot. So, if I may, if you have time, I'd love to ask you these questions, and they could just be quick, one word, off the cuff answers. If that would be okay.
We
I
can
just
do
got
10. We can do 10.
yeah. There you go. All right, Chipper Jones. Okay. And they're kind of off the wall, silly, but they're kind of fun. I've done it with a couple other guests before, and they always seem to get some cool answers. Okay, what is your favorite word?
Chipper.
There you go. Perfect. What is your least favorite word?
Bills.
The Bills?
Our work.
Oh, oh, with the football in my mind, I was thinking you're saying, what does he hate the Buffalo Bills? Okay, but the Bills for financial reasons. Okay, I understand that. That's a good answer. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally? What turns you on, Adam?
All right. So I sit there and am a believer in Christ, and so on and so forth. And I sit there and love sitting there mentoring young people, that I get to work with, the youth in my church and so on and so forth, and get to not just teach them about the word, but actually about being good people and so on and so forth. So that's something that I'm very passionate about. And you're talking about spiritual or whatnot, I think, I'm a Christian, I believe in Jesus Christ and so on and so forth. So that's what piques me, getting the opportunity to love on folks and so on and so forth that might not necessarily be getting the love that they feel like they deserve it in their life, whether it be for them family, friends, or et cetera, or even their spouse. So
Amen to that. Okay, hate to be negative. Then, what turns you off?
negative people, everybody acts like the glass is half empty instead of
Mm,
looking that it's half full. I've always been an optimistic person. My woman is like a what I would call a negative person, ironically. So I have to sit there and tell her everything's gonna be good, it's all right, heck, I had my heat and air go out of my house last year, that's not
sure.
an expense I wanted, but you know, I'll figure out a way. God is always there. God is good, and so on and so forth. So just be positive. I don't like negativity.
Yeah. Well, then that's perfect that you have each other in your lives to kind of balance and find that equilibrium. I guess that's good. That makes a good relationship. What is okay after getting through that? You don't have to answer this if you don't want. What is your favorite curse word?
My favorite curse word, huh? Like you already probably can guess, I don't typically try to cuss.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I like stub my toe or something happens, people sit there in shock that I don't sit there and say something out of cuss. I sit there and say ouch or
Right?
I
No.
sit there. I guess I use it as a cuss word bleep, I just
Oh,
bleep.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
You self
So
censor yourself,
yeah.
right?
I self censor myself with the word bleep a lot.
That's awesome because then I don't have to use the bleep and when I edit this, so we're good. What sound or noise do you love?
What sound or noise that I love? I
Do you
guess
love?
I guess maybe the sound of of a good old fashioned baseball game or something like
Oh,
that,
sure.
and so on and so forth. Or actually, the most calming, peaceful sound is water. I'm
Oh,
thinking about it a little bit more. The sound of
for
waves
sure.
you know, and so on and so forth. The sound of running water per se in the ocean or in a river or stream or something like that, creek.
Sure, the tranquility of the babbling brook or whatnot. But even to your point on baseball, Adam, that's another. You said you like the history of baseball, which I do, but man, I love the fact that I can listen to a ball game on the radio and just imagine what's going on. Don't have to really, see it visually. And then that way you can multitask. You could do things around the house. You can mow the lawn, whatever, with the game on, and or just sit out on the patio and during the evening and listen to a game. I think it's the greatest. What sound or noise do you hate?
Sound or noise that I hate. Huh.
I think it's kind of. I said they're kind of strange. Some of these
No,
questions.
no, no, no. I sit there and there's definitely a couple of noises that I don't like or whatnot, and so on and so forth. But you're trying to think of which one probably over the other per se. I guess the old adage, of just uh, maybe uh, what are they
Oh,
called?
nails
Chalkboard,
on a
nails on a
chalkboard.
chalkboard. Yeah.
Like when I say coming up now, some people have said that's like nails on a chalkboard too. So I say that. Um, Three more. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
To me, I've always been fond of sports and whatnot. I would love to sit there and try to maybe, of course, it would be very hard for me because once again, I got like attention deficit disorder. I was mentioned this on my channel before. In this video, there might be a time or two where it sits there and sounds like I'm stuttering, or I sit there and got it because I got speech impediments and stuff, and so on and so forth. So sometimes I stutter, sometimes I try to slow down and pause to make sure I'm not, and so on and so forth. So it sit there and seems like, this dude is a little bit slow sometimes or whatnot. So I sit there and yeah, that's what was the exact question? 'Cause I think I'm straying once again with my
No, 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 that's good.
disorder.
No, it's what other than your current profession, which is fast food, I guess. What would kind of be your dream job? I guess.
My dream job would be to sit there and do, sports, either
Okay.
sports TV or sports announcements, sports radio or whatnot, something like that. But once again, I was alluding to because I don't think I would want to be very good at it or so on and so forth because, you know, I sit there and do have like I said, like I'm dyslexic and then as well I stutter and so on and so forth, attention deficit disorder. So it's hard for me to stay focused.
Yeah, no, I understand. What profession would you not like to do?
Garbage or sewer, that type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's necessary, and but maybe not wouldn't be your first option, I guess, which is I think for most people. If okay, last one, here we go. Drum roll, please. If heaven exists, which I think as believers we know it does, What would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Come on in.
There you go. Yes, yes, come on in. Um, Adam, it's been a joy. It's been a pleasure. And before we leave, do you have okay? Is there do you have any other social media? Are you on like Instagram, Facebook, or where can other than your YouTube channel, Adam's Card Closet? Where can the viewers find you?
Primarily, I sit there and do YouTube. I do have an Instagram account with my exact same name, but I don't really utilize that as well as I could or should or whatnot,
Mhm.
and so on and so forth. To me, I sit there and a very busy person trying to work a job and a half, and and then as well, I'm sitting there trying to sell and trade off a lot of my excess cards I have in my collection. So excuse me, right now I don't really have enough time to even make all the YouTube videos I would like to, let alone try to entertain doing other social medias.
No, that's awesome. And we'll leave it at that. Unfortunately,
I was hoping I was going to be the very first. I think I'm the very first
yeah,
person that did not guess the secret word. I was going to make this joke at the very beginning. I was hoping that I would not guess the secret word.
we'll send you the consolation prize, Adam. And my warmest regards for you being on the collectors chat. And I'm sure all the hopefully hundreds of viewers that get to watch this, you brought joy to them, and we really appreciate you having on. And you'll have to watch next time because these packs will be available to the hopefully next contestant. I will say it wasn't an easy one, but it is what it is. So
Yeah.
thank you, sir.
No, thank you.
Appreciate it. And I'm just gonna put you down in the bullpen for a quick second, and I'll have some closing words. Thanks, Adam.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome. We'll have to do this again.
Yes, sir.
Well, this is going to be the ultimate Easter egg, as Adam and I talked offline after our chat, and I told him what the secret word was, and I'll show everyone what it is right now. It was desert.
And I did find my Chipper Jones Top Desert Shield card.
There you go. So this is bonus footage. So not only do you see that Adam won all the packs, woohoo, all upside down, he also gets to show everyone his Desert Storm Chipper Jones rookie card. So that is cool. Show that rookie card again, Adam. Sweet. Okay. So these packs are going to get sent out to you, Adam. Again, I apologize to you and all the viewers for missing it. And here, I'll give you a little behind the scenes, under the curtain, behind the curtain uh, uh, peek at how my brain was working there, and it wasn't working too well. I picked desert because when I saw Adam's return address label, it said AR. Didn't think of Arkansas. Thought it was Arizona. So I thought, okay, Arizona, what are they known for? Well, they got a desert. So I thought maybe that could you might talk about and say desert. So he did. Instead, he talked about something even better, Desert Storm and the Chipper Jones autograph. So that's it, everyone. We do have a winner. So no, Adam, you weren't the first one not to win. The streak continues. Again, appreciate it. And to all those that stuck around, you guys stuck around. Maybe we'll have a contest. We're gonna do a grease. We're gonna do, and what is that, Adam? Was
And
another
we're and we're gonna give away a Chipper Jones numbered card, one of those parallels
okay?
I was talking about. So we both gonna give something away.
Oh, that's awesome. So for the grease pack, why don't you're still watching. I don't want you to put anything in the comments, because if people aren't watching, they'll see that you put something in the comments and they'll go, "Oh, something's up. There must be a contest." So what I want you to do is keep this on the down low. you're going to send me the at commentingcollector@gmail.com that you know about the Easter egg chipper Desert Storm. Just say that in the email, and you're going to be put in a drawing for this grease pack. And I'll say we'll just give it a from the time of this airing, we'll give it 10 days. So it won't be long, but you'll get 10 days. And then Adam, how would you like to give away that card?
Whoever wins your card will also win that. I thank everybody for stopping by, checking out my awesome friend's channel, Mr. Robert, aka the Commenting Collector. So you get bonus prizes.
Awesome. All right, that's great. So it worked out. It's kind of a goofy thing, but it worked out in the end. All right, Adam, this is it.
Stay chipper.
Stay chipper. Bye. That was a great chat. Adam's Card Closet. What a man. What a collector. What a human being. I mean, you listen to kind of his values. Yeah, I mean, if the world was filled with atoms, well, it all may have started with an atom. So if we continue the people like that, I mean, it's gonna be a great world of. I mean, it's a great community as is. But what's nice about these chats, we get to find out and hear more about the creators' lives and kind of their backstory, and that's what it's all about. And just a little full disclosure, Adam actually wasn't feeling 100%, but being the trooper he was, he went on anyway, and I couldn't even. I mean, he was great. He was, as they say, chipper than as normal. So appreciate it. And if you liked the chat and you want me to do more of this, I'd love to for you to give this episode a thumbs up, subscribe. Then you'll know when next episodes are coming out. I try to do these once a month or so, and then you can find my other content on Commenting Collector. I've got another video coming out in the next couple of days. So yeah, again, appreciate Adam, his time. Adam's Card Closet. If you're not subscribed to him, go to his channel. He's got over 1,000 subs. Like I said, he only in his 5th year, he's knocking on the door of the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame. So if you're not watching Adam, you're missing out. And I'm sure many of you are already, and so you really appreciate it and know what a good man he is. So until next time, this is the Commenting Collector, and as always, good collecting.